Hi, I'm Jesse Dillon, and this is my co-host, Priscilla.
Priscilla Cohen. Today we're talking with animal rescuers ELDAD and LORETA from Hope for Paws. We'll be talking about some of their truly incredible rescues.
And how their YouTube subscribers help them save animals, and how a video of a stray rescue dog getting eye surgery gave young children the courage to brave their own surgeries. But please,
Click and also like and click. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch this and more episodes, or subscribe to Jesse's Office wherever you stream your podcasts. Feel free to leave comments and reviews. We try to respond whenever we can. We can put water in here.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Do we have ELDAD?
Do you guys want water? You want water?
I'm
And
okay.
I think we need water for the pups. We need,
Hot in here.
yeah, we're gonna put, we'll get water for the dogs. Hi,
I like
it's
that
nice
you
to
think
see
that
you.
this is hot, Eldad. Like you're digging around in the sewers and the scalding heat, and this office is hot. You know what I mean?
I know, but I
But
like
clean.
I like the temperature at 50 when I'm in the
Really?
office. Yes, I like it cold.
There's all these dogs. They
These
might be
are
around.
rescued. She's a little rescue. There's like
So
two.
cute.
Charlie over here.
Uh-huh.
She's a rescue, right? This
I
one.
know we heard the story about her.
She has a story. She's gonna tell us. Hi, you guys.
How's it going, you guys?
I don't even know if are we like. I didn't know we're doing even video.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm gonna
yeah.
Put some makeup on. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
I'm gonna turn off my
Todd,
phone.
your
off.
fans
Yeah.
wouldn't know you
Only,
if you did
yeah,
that.
maybe phones off because
Yeah, I did.
Absolutely.
in
Airplane
your
mode.
bag or something. Yeah.
How's it been going, you guys?
Good, thank you.
moly.
How are you?
Good. So, how did you guys meet?
We met actually years ago.
Yeah.
I needed help on a rescue, and I called somebody I knew in the rescue, and she very highly recommended ELDAD from Hope for Paws, and then he came out to help me with a dog, and then the second time he helped me out with a bunny,
Right.
and then we became friends, and now it's more than just friends.
Yeah. So you were already rescuing dogs,
I was, but not like this.
right?
You know,
Well, how
more
are you
like
doing?
shelter dogs and fostering.
So how does a call come in? Eldad, you've told me this before, but just tell me again. Tell me how a call comes in for Hope for Paws. Like, how big is Hope for Paws? You know, you have thousands of videos on there now. So is it a giant factory? Like, what does a Hope for Paws home office look like?
Oh, it's funny. Like people think that because of our YouTube presence, right, we're much bigger than we are, which is just not true.
Right.
Yeah, we're about to reach 1 billion views on
No.
our YouTube channel.
No.
Yeah, it's
That's crazy.
right? We're like
Yeah.
a tiny organization.
Yeah.
We were, up until, 3 years ago, we were just 3 people. For most of Hope for Paws' life, we were just 3 people.
Right.
And then now we have expanded, we have grown a little bit because we just have to, because more and more people know about us and they call us for help. So either they call us on their emergency line or they text us or they email us. There's
Yeah.
so many ways, and people just, they know to find us.
But you guys, it's because sometimes you go off and rescue on your own too, right? Like you guys seem to, sometimes the films are together, sometimes they're separate. Right?
It depends. Usually Loretta and I move
Yeah,
together.
together.
Yeah.
And sometimes I have to go alone. It depends, it really depends on, she could be on another rescue with another team member, and then I'm on my own.
So what is it like? You get it's a bat phone, and you get a call. Like, what makes it actually something that you'll go to?
It's usually the emergency urgent stuff.
Right.
So, for example, we just filmed the most incredible rescue that we had done, I think, in the history of Hope for Paws. And for educational purposes, it really is going to be like a game changer. So Loretta and I and Joanne and Katie, we are the 2 teams, right?
Right. So normally you don't all work together, right?
Right, yeah, because usually we are able to figure it out, but we were told it's a pretty challenging situation. It's in a industrial area, and there are a bunch of kittens, and they're covered with oil. So all 4 of us headed out there, and we got to the rescue location, and just as we're unloading the equipment, I get an urgent text. And this woman tells me that she saw a possum dead in the middle of the road, but she stopped and looked, and it looks like it's still moving, like there are babies in there.
Right.
So
In her pouch.
Yeah, in her pouch. So we finished unloading the equipment. We left Joanne and Katie for this rescue, and we headed out. And by chance, it was just 9 miles away from that location. And we got to that location. We saw the dead possum in the middle of the road. He was just left there. And luckily, no one hit her again. And then we opened the pouch to peep into the pouch, and there were 9 babies there.
Wow.
Complete, like healthy and fine. They were totally, like unfortunately, she took a blow to the head and she died instantly, but her body kept being like a bunker for these babies. Loretta picked the mom with the babies in one unit and put them in the car, and we rushed to the hospital. And we had to like detach them from the mom, which is so sad.
Yeah.
But it's so interesting because I'm thinking how many times all of us here in Southern California and really all over the country, right? You drive by and you see a possum and it's dead.
Yeah.
And you don't think about it.
Yeah.
2 seconds.
Okay, so but what happens to these 9 babies? What's the right humane thing? What would we do with them?
So we took
They
them.
should go to a wildlife center.
They should go to, these.
Wetlands.
Yeah, the babies had to go to be bottle fed. And it's actually, with possums, it's interesting. You know, with a kitten, you can use a little bottle.
Yeah.
And you just put it in their mouth, right?
Yeah.
And they
With
know how to.
And they know how to do it. Possums, we saw it really when we had to detach the babies from the mom. It's kind of graphic, but their nipples are so long.
Yeah.
And it goes all the way to their stomachs.
Oh my God. That's
So you
how they
can't
feed.
just put it in their mouth and think that they'll know how to swallow. They won't. So you really need to know what to do. But then we go through this process and we release them back to the wild. And possums have every animal that we have here that is native has a purpose in nature, you know?
They're amazing.
They eat
really good.
They eat 500 ticks a day.
Wow.
Who knew?
Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
So they're pest control, right?
Yeah.
Organic,
See, we don't
natural.
know that. We don't know
Right.
that.
Yeah. So, but this is the beauty is. This is where I see the beauty with Hope for Paws, that we're able to, most people come to us for the love of dogs and cats, but every once in a while, Loretta and I will go and rescue a duck and a seagull
And a rooster.
and we were able to show.
Now, that rooster, what was that rooster doing out there? Like, you found it on the train tracks and it was out there just...
Because he escaped from the slaughterhouse in
Slaughterhouse.
Vernon.
Yeah.
It was right there.
So what do you do? Like, you're out there just wandering down the street and down the train tracks, and it's like, whoa, what is that?
Yeah, we were
were
actually
looking for a dog.
Yeah, we were looking for a dog. that
We couldn't find.
Yeah, we couldn't find that day. But all of a
Yeah.
sudden, Loretta spotted the rooster.
Right.
You spotted the rooster. I spotted the big teddy bear.
Yeah.
We spotted a teddy bear.
Wait,
You
there was
did
a bear
spot the
with
rooster.
A rooster?
For
Yeah,
sure.
Okay.
massive one.
Okay.
Oh, right, it's true, I did.
Yeah. But now it's like, you're going to rescue the rooster, but what's the mission of Hope for Paws?
What the mission?
Well, what are you trying to do? Because you're out. I mean, obviously, I've been a big fan for a long time. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how long it's been.
It's been a
Thank
couple of
you.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A few years.
We had him
Yeah.
back here. We had him here earlier.
But what is it Hope for Paws is, set up to do? Like, why'd you set it up?
We set up to improve the lives of these animals that just can't fend for themselves. There's nothing, we really rescued animals from some of the stickiest situations that so many others failed. Like, they couldn't get, when we went to rescue the kitten from the well in South Carolina, other people tried, but they just couldn't. So we were able to, we're able to figure out cool things, and we're able to educate the public. And I can't tell you how, in so many ways, we're affecting people's lives in ways that it's like a side effect, but it's the most amazing side
Well,
effect.
tell us, what does that mean?
So I'll tell you, for me, one of the most incredible side effects, there's one dog that I rescued in Watts. His name is Watson. We named him Watson.
Of course.
Yeah.
He was a 3-legged dog, and this dog was going blind.
Right.
And we took him to the hospital. And so one video was his rescue, and the second video was me standing behind the ophthalmologist for 2.5 hours. I held a camera over her head, and I just filmed that surgery of his eye surgery. And it's amazing because he's a tiny little terrier, like this size. He looks like just
this,
like Watson.
so everyone can see. Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
And you can see the whole process of how the doctor makes this dog see again.
Mm-hmm.
And I posted that video, and I can't tell you how many emails I received from parents to children who told me that after watching this video, kids who were afraid to go to surgery on their eye,
Wow.
Right.
they watched the video and they got the courage and they're like, I want to be like Watson. And they went
my
and did the
gosh,
surgery. It gave them that courage.
Yeah.
And that's like a beautiful thing. I mean, it's
Yeah.
amazing. What
Yeah.
an amazing side
Yeah.
effect.
Yeah.
So
No.
it's this, or people, or we're getting emails and letters from people from all around the world telling us how their rescue stories, or how using a technique that Loretta used or one of my other team members used, and they were able to save a dog in Spain, in Egypt, in Australia. And that's amazing, right? Because we're able to like teach people to give them the courage to do this. So many people even write to me, they're like, until I watch your videos, if I would see a pit bull on the street, I'll just walk across the street. And now they're going to go and meet these dogs because they don't, they were fed so many stories and negative things, and now they see animals in a different way. And for me, I never studied video editing, I never studied film or anything, and I'm able to post these things and they're seen by hundreds of millions of people. That's
Now
incredible.
a billion.
No,
Now a billion.
Loretta, this is back at 500 million.
Jesse,
But this little
you're a downer.
puppy. I mean, what did you think when what were you thinking when you rescued this dog? Because
her
the
leg was
paws,
broken. Yeah, it was badly broken.
Three places.
Yes.
I cry watching these videos.
But how incredible if you skip to the end of the video to see how amazing, what an amazing life she leads right now. Look at this.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
I mean,
Wait, did you dye her hair?
no.
just washed.
It
She
grew.
was just very dirty.
she was so
Yeah.
dirty
Yeah.
from living outside.
But what is it like when you do that? Because you're with that through the whole transition. So when you pull up on the street and because tell me about this rescue. Like how did it even come about? And then sometimes you just stay on these things so long, like long beyond anybody's reasonable expectations. So do you get a phone call about a dog living behind a house?
I think somebody who lives in that
Complex.
apartment building,
Yeah.
complex, I guess was feeding her.
Yeah.
And by the looks of it, I think she's been there for a while. When you see these dogs in that condition, and especially with a broken leg, I mean, I can't even tell you how painful it is to see that and to think that if this person didn't call us, she might have been there for another few weeks or months,
And then died.
And the pain that you endure
absolutely.
Yeah.
Right,
during
exactly.
this.
And then you can get infections that can, really make you sick and slowly, painfully kill you.
Yeah.
So, we will take as much time as we need to get this animal. We would never leave without, helping this animal. So,
No, this pup sort of maybe is happy to see you in a way. Like this particular one has some understanding that you're coming to help them. You talked about helping people, but at the end it's really helping these animals.
No, of course.
yeah.
But like when you see this guy sitting there,
Sparrow.
it's when you see Sparrow sitting there, how difficult is it to make the first contact? Just to what's that like?
Every dog is different. Some dogs just come to you because they know you're there to help. Other dogs that have been abused will run from you. So, but every time you do finally make that contact, you do feel relief because you know that their new life has just started and it's only going to get better.
And Hope for Paws, that you, when you rescue dogs, you take care of them all the way through. That you never rescue a dog you're not going to get to a home, right?
No. They go from the streets to the hospital, and then from there they go to a foster home because there's still a process here, right? Even if you do surgery to fix a dog's leg,
They have to recover.
you still have
for
a
a while.
recovery process. Sometimes it's multiple surgeries. Sometimes you can't handle too many things in one surgery, so you have to do it in two. But there's time of recovery. So really, the great heroes here along the way are the people who are fostering these animals.
Now, you have a big network of fostering because I can tell every time that you got a different video up there, there's a different group that you're always thanking, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So how did that big network come about?
We made contact with really the best rescues in Los Angeles who believe in what we believe, which all these animals need to be in a foster home. other than being in like in a boarding facility or in a cage. They need to be in a home where they're being petted like this and loved, and they learn to trust. Like we have rescued some dogs who were so badly abused and neglected, and they don't even know what's a human contact anymore. Loretta and I just rescued this dog. The sticks we use, the snares.
Yeah.
The black snare.
Yeah, so there was one dog, she was so terrified, and Loretta caught her. We did like a cool ambush, and Loretta managed to lasso her. No, we're talking about Sunshine.
Oh, yeah.
And she chewed through 3 of those sticks.
Right.
And we were able to just put one, and she chewed, and put another one while she chewed this one and destroy them. And she was so terrified. And this level of fear is just unbelievable. And then we got her to the hospital, and, she was spayed and everything. And she went to a foster home, and in 24 hours, she wagged her tail.
Right.
And in 48 hours, it was incredible. She was running with the other dogs, so happy.
Yeah.
As if nothing ever happened.
Yeah, it's.
But what is your secret? You have a secret gift, and you have it too. What is that? Or do you get afraid? I mean, what is that thing that allows you to go? And some of these dogs have been, they're scared, and so they can be scary. What is that? Do you have fear?
I'm going to talk about Eldad for a second. He has insane creativity. Like there's no situation that he couldn't figure out, the method of rescuing an animal. Like, for example, Jessie.
Jesse?
43.
This Jesse?
Did you see?
No, Jesse.
Which one was Jesse?
The kitten who fell 43 feet.
Oh, wait, no, I'm mixing Hermione. Story. But wait, no, I'll tell you why Hermione, like, it's kind of like a cool thing. And then we'll go back to Jesse.
Insane creativity, which is what Loretta was getting at,
and
but yeah.
It's really, there's also insane creativity here. Hermione, she's the dog who got caught with a coyote trap on her
Yes.
leg and carried it.
Yeah.
So a friend of ours sent us the video.
That wasn't here. That was somewhere
In
else.
South Carolina.
South Carolina, right.
And she sent us the video, and she said, animal control and the police have been trying for 5 days to get this dog, and they can't. She keeps running away. And I said, we'll be on the next flight to South Carolina. And she said, no, you can't come. I'm like, why can't I come to South Carolina? She said, if the police said they will immediately arrest anyone who goes and tries to get the dog. I'm like, why is that? And she said, because so many rescuers tried to do it, and while doing it, they trespassed on people's properties.
Right.
And so they said, we arrest immediately. So what I've done, really from an innocent standpoint, I was trying to figure out, okay, we have almost 2 million people follow us on Facebook between the couple different pages that we have. I figured one person knows the chief of police in Lexington, South Carolina, right? I figured one would know.
Yeah.
6 degrees
You
of
should run for
separation.
president. Right.
Totally.
So,
I'd
so
vote.
we, so I posted on Facebook, this is this dog, this is the story, and you can see her licking her paw, and it's painful. It's so painful. And I just said, one of you must know the chief of police. And sure enough, kind of minutes went by, and so many people from our Facebook page just called that police department to tell them about Hope for
That's
Paws.
amazing.
And we completely shut down their emergency line. And the police ended up calling me, begging me, please take that post off.
Right.
So I said, I will, but I don't want, they're like, no, don't worry, we're not going to arrest you. Just come and save this dog because we need our emergency lines to be
Right.
open. And then Loretta and I went out there, and we saw the situation, and we're able to figure out how to save her. And it's a much different situation than here in LA, kind of an urban environment. Even if you follow a dog for a while, eventually they'll get tired, they'll walk into somebody's yard or something. South Carolina, we were out in the woods.
Yeah.
And so the challenge is so much greater. So
Yeah.
She can run anywhere.
she could run in every possible
Wow.
different direction. And Loretta and I figured it out, and we had soccer nets sent to us. And we built a huge, long soccer net, and with a bunch of volunteers who were so happy. And some of them joined me on a rescue years ago, but they were
Right.
just so happy to be again a part of this rescue with Hope for Paws. And we were able to enclose the whole area and save this dog.
How's that dog doing now?
Amazing. It's so interesting because in South Carolina, we were at, after we took the trap off her leg, the doctor that's there there, he said, the leg has to come off. And I said, there's no way it's coming off. I've seen enough cases. This leg does not need to come off. So Loretta and I rented a car, and we drove all the way from South Carolina to Los Angeles. It took us 3 days.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm not cutting her leg off. And sure enough, we went to see Dr. Robert Olds, and
Oh my God.
he constructed a new paw for her.
Oh God.
And he had to multiple surgeries, and he had to remove extra couple bones just to make it. And now she can run faster than I could ever run.
And when you run into her later, does she know it was you?
Oh,
and
yeah,
appreciate
yeah.
it?
She's a
These-
very friendly dog.
Yeah, she's amazing.
But the amount of, like, first of all, amount of time and care, but then the resources. What's the cost of something like that?
Oh, it's thousands of
Thousands of
dollars.
dollars.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's thousands of dollars. And but again, the beauty here is that our community, and I'm going back to Loretta's story about creativity. The beauty is that we have such a large community around us, and when we got that text about the kitten in the well, I immediately went to Facebook and I asked for advice. I don't just ask people for funds, for money. I ask them for advice. I'm like, one of you must know how these wells are built.
Yeah.
Because I need to figure out, how do I pull a kitten that is so far deep,
Yeah.
and I don't even know what's happening at the bottom of the well,
Yeah.
right? Does it open to be a chamber or
Yep.
something?
Yep.
How do I get? And there were thousands of comments. And some people were just, they were saying that they're praying for our success and all this, but I got on the phone with some people and plumbers and people who put these things in place. And by the time, so in the morning we learned about this, and we took the red-eye flight, but by then, and during the flight, the whole flight, I was reading all these comments. So we didn't sleep all night going to this rescue, but in my arsenal, in my head, I had so many different methods that I'm like, if this fails, I'll do this, and if this fails, I'll do that.
Tell me about this dog, when you rolled up on this dog.
Everest.
Yeah. But obviously he's just sitting there for you, Loretta. Or you just walk over and he's like, yeah, great, let's go,
Cheeseburger,
right?
let's go.
But this is an unusual dog. What do you think when you meet this dog?
How beautiful.
Many people think, especially if they get these animals as puppies, it's the cutest, fluffiest little puppy. But all of a sudden, this little puppy grows to be a 150-pound animal that needs to eat a lot and has special needs. You need to
Yeah.
understand these breeds. A Newfoundland has no business living in Southern California,
Yeah, where
almost,
the
right?
heat,
It's
the-
so
yeah,
hot.
yeah.
It's miserable, and they love to swim. They have webbed feet because that's what
Right,
they've been
that's
used
their
to
job,
historically for
right?
years, is
Their
to
job,
be on
yeah.
ships.
So,
Exactly.
okay, you get this guy, how do you get to this? How do you get to bringing Everest to Oregon?
Yeah,
you know?
Oregon.
So how does it come together that you're going to go to Oregon, and then what makes you act? Because you guys get on the plane and you go up there. you know?
Yeah, we usually don't do
Just
that.
like that.
Yeah.
But in this particular case, I was at the hospital with him, and a woman who knew Hope for Paws kind of spotted me, and we started talking, and she said, "Oh my God, I have a friend in Oregon who has another Newfoundland who is always doing visits at hospitals, children's hospitals."
service dog, yeah.
And we spoke to them, and it was just like a perfect match. It's just kind of all by chance, right? This woman happened to be
Yeah.
at the clinic waiting for her dog, and she happened to have a friend, and we happened to talk, and it's just...
It's not by chance. I don't think so, because your network is so huge. I think what's
It's sort of, we always hear these terrible stories about social media. Yours is actually
this
a good
is a
story
great
about
story.
Yeah.
And
Very
doesn't it
positive.
give you hope? Really, for all the other things that can be done in community, right? This
Yeah.
is all
Absolutely.
this sharing of information. I don't think
Did Everest understand when you landed and it was cool? Was he just, what
He
the
was
hell is
so
going
Did you
on?
happy.
see the video how he reacted when he saw snow for the
Snow.
first time?
He was eating it. He was
He was
playing it.
so
It was
happy.
amazing.
get me out of the heat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question to go back in time? What was your first love, or what you had a calling, or this is a calling for you, and for you it's as well, but how did you get here to do this? There's a lot, I know it's a long story, but
Yeah.
what is that thing that some people you're driven to do this? Why?
I started doing it in such a young age. And, we lived in a small town in Israel, and, there were always kittens and birds. And I just love taking care of. I don't know. It's just something in me, right? So I love taking care of animals, and I had. It's interesting. I had a neighbor who was a vet, and every time, now I'm thinking about it, I think how amazing it is. But as a kid, I didn't think about it, right? I would find something, or someone would drop animals by my door because they would just know. Like I was 6 years old, and people knew to leave animals by my door, and I would go to this vet, and he would take care of the animal, whatever it was, and I'll just take the cat home. But there was never exchange of money. Right? He gave me medicine, he gave me whatever I needed, and he was so happy to kind of nurture this, right? And I never thought about it, but now I'm thinking about it, especially considering how much money we spend on vet bills, which is insane.
But your group of people supports that. You never ask them for very much. It's $5, but
Right.
But the money that people give you is incredibly important. Yeah,
we wouldn't be able
There's no way.
yeah.
we could do
Imagine a
this.
day that if I couldn't raise funds. I don't even know what I would do with myself. Can you imagine if I had? It's so interesting because if I think of the moment that everything changed for Hope for Paws, it was with Fiona. She was the blind poodle, and I didn't have the money to help her. And can you even imagine the frustration and the sadness? I need $4,000 to help this dog, and I don't have it. And once her video came out and I asked people to help us, everything changed. Everything changed, and it really helped us.
I always think that it's that people, I told you this before, I think it's that people can see themselves in the video, in the dog. They think that could actually be them, and they would want a Hope for Paws for their real life. Something like that. There's some profound thing that these dogs are left behind. They're forgotten, and
marginalized.
there's somebody
Yeah.
who's willing to reach in there and bring them back. This dog. Did you remember this one, Eldad? It's from a few years ago.
Yeah, it's Thor.
Yeah, I mean, what were you thinking when you looked up and you saw this? I mean, describe it
This is
for
just-
me.
yeah,
Look at it.
where
That's his
are
head,
we?
Priscilla. You see him?
No,
I mean, it's like a trash heap.
No,
Like this
it's
dog is on the
a
top of
dump.
the
It's
trash
a
heap.
dump,
It's like
right?
Yeah.
unbelievable,
It was,
right?
Yeah, it was very challenging and very dangerous because if I misstep here, you never know what's under you and how
Yeah.
this whole thing can collapse.
Yeah.
And there are rusty nails.
Yeah.
And there's so many hazards here that can really get me into some serious trouble.
And what do you
he's
think
scared.
he's thinking himself? He's like, what are you doing up here trying to stop me? Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
He found comfort up there on the top of the hill.
It's
He
just
doesn't
away from
understand He's in a
people.
bad
Yeah.
situation. So how do you even...
So I'll tell you the story that actually happened after this and is not in this video. A woman went to pick her son from work, and she wanted to surprise her son, so she brought his dog with her in the car. And he jumped out of the car and bolted. This is downtown LA.
Right.
Something spooked him, and he jumped out and he ran. And somehow he ended up here. But he wasn't neutered. He didn't have a collar. He didn't have a microchip. There's no way for me to know that this dog is owned. He doesn't look like an owned dog.
Right.
He lives on a pile of trash.
Yeah.
And we posted the video, and nobody claimed him, nothing. And a year later, the video somehow made it to that owner. And he was reunited with his owner. But think of the potential for a nightmare here. Because in a way, he actually was not adopted.
Right.
People think, because the video was seen I don't know how many millions of times, the dogs get adopted like this, and it's not that simple. So sometimes it takes a long time, and a foster parent has to have the dog or the cats for a long period of time. But imagine if he was adopted, and now I have an owner who it's clearly his owner. I could tell,
exactly. Yeah.
It would have been a nightmare story.
Yeah.
And
Shared
so
custody.
Yeah, shared custody. Yeah, but
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have somebody here who does that. I think
Yeah.
it's terrible.
yeah, that's
I have a question. What about you, Loretta? Like your passion, like where did it come? Did you always have it as well, or how did it start?
So my parents, I grew up in Soviet Union, so people were not very into animals. They kept dogs outside.
You have no accent, though. So
She does a
is that-
little
Really?
tiny bit. I
I
can hear
do.
it. A little tiny bit. I can hear a little bit. Yeah.
But my parents loved animals. So I remember as a child, when I was 4 years old and 5 years old, I would bring home injured pigeons and kittens and dogs, anything really. And then when we moved to Spain when I was 12, my parents started neutering and spaying stray cats because the overpopulation was insane and
Oh, yeah.
people actually would poison them.
Yeah, you see that
So-
in Italy a lot.
Yeah,
too. It's
yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
So my parents would basically feed them in their backyard, and everybody would just go there, and they would catch them and spay, neuter them, and release them. And so I just grew up seeing a lot of love for animals, and then I don't know, just
So
She comes from a totally different background. Though.
Yeah,
She's a singer. She's like a famous singer.
famous singer, and you
Yeah,
you're
my country.
you were in Israel. You grew up you were in the army,
Yeah,
right? You had
Yeah.
a different life.
yeah,
And here you are.
yeah. And here
I
we are.
know.
So the magic of the red leash, the Lucky Leash, where does it come from? How does that? Well, it's like almost like the mythology of your work. Like where did that come from?
Totally kind of by accident. I was visiting in Hawaii one time, and I saw that leash, and I got it from my dog.
Yeah. How
One
many
day-
do you have?
Oh, we're now actually selling them on our website because
No, dogs or leashes?
Leashes.
the leashes.
Okay.
Thousands?
Because yeah, we have a few thousand.
Yeah.
Just because it's another way for people to support
Yeah.
our efforts.
And it's a
because all the
symbol of
funds.
hope.
And it's exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so anyway, one day I was called to a rescue, and I just grabbed the first leash that I had, and it was that leash, and then it just kind of turned to be a thing, right? I'm always go with this leash, and it has such an interesting side effect, right? Because people buy our leash. Just got an email from this woman. She was walking her dog in Toronto with that leash. And another woman stopped her on the street. And I'm like, oh, I know this leash. And it started a whole conversation between two different strangers who probably would have never spoken to each other. But that leash started a conversation about dogs, and you have like two new friends now because of, and it doesn't say Hope for Paws on it. It doesn't say animal rescue. It doesn't say support animal. It's kind of like,
It's a secret handshake.
Yeah,
It's like the Kabbalah,
exactly.
Exactly.
You know what's in the kit? What's in the because you got the blocker fence
Right.
thing. You've got the dog cage. You got the black leash. And then you got the red thing, right?
yes.
Like what else is in the kit that we don't know about?
A toolbox for any illegal activities we may encounter.
We're not talking about, sometimes no, it's not
Is there a lot of stuff you leave out of the
joking.
video?
No. There really isn't.
Yeah.
The toolbox is there because in our latest video, we had to
Rip
cause
rip the hood off the top of the
Yeah,
chimney.
right.
I see every video immediately when it comes out.
Oh, really?
I can tell. You've done the homework, but yeah,
the
so
homework.
sometimes
Are you kidding? I've been watching these videos
I
every
know.
time they
You
come
know
out. I've
them
been doing
better than I
homework for
do.
years.
You see, we have a lot of dogs in the building. You see,
Yeah.
you see a lot of
yeah.
dogs here.
But so we have,
cool.
so we need a toolbox. We need many flashlights because we find ourselves in
Yeah.
dark spots and. Sometimes we carry soccer nets if there's a large area and we need to
Right.
close the dogs. We have the trap, sometimes dogs just not interested in humans at all. And so we just set up the cage and a trail of cheeseburgers living in.
Now, is
and-
it always cheeseburgers?
It's-
So wherever
it's
you're
usually,
going, it's a
yeah.
cheeseburger?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's usually a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Why the cheese? I mean, why not a hamburger? Why the
It's just
cheese?
an extra
yeah.
smell, and they appreciate it. It seems to work over the years.
So have you guys you're both not from Los Angeles, but
Right.
you must understand Los Angeles better than anybody because you really are in every nook and cranny
Right.
of the city. I mean, you're in the sewers, you're in the storm drains,
yeah.
you're in the old houses. I mean, I'm not sure it's every place in the city, but you really must get to see Los Angeles in a way that very few people ever do.
Yes, no, it's true. You know what is interesting? We actually have a flight tonight to Arizona.
Right.
And I always love flying over Los Angeles because I look down
Yeah.
and it's
knows
like
all the
yeah, you
areas
can pop
where
like
he
not
rescued a
just
dog.
areas, but specific dogs. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
this is where Jordan happens because it's such a key point. But so many of them I can tell like, oh, this is happening. This happens. So
Now,
it's
what
very
about
cool.
rescuing in the desert? When you go out to the desert and you just have like the 4 dogs I forget the name of.
I have to tell you an interesting story about this one.
Yeah.
So after we finished this rescue,
Which one is that?
it's the 4 dogs in the desert that we've
Where you
done.
had to go back the second day because you couldn't get them
and it
all,
happened
and you
to be
trapped
like
them
on
in the house.
It happened to be on Passover,
Yeah.
and here Hope for Paws is taking the
Oh my
dogs
God,
out of the
Elijah
desert.
coming and the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
So, but the interesting thing is that once we had the last dog, the 2 women and their husbands showed up, and another friend of theirs showed up. They just want to kind of see them all rescued. And my assistant was telling them the story about how cool it is with the Passover and all this. And I'm like, and I'm trying to mark her. I'm like, just stop, cut the story, don't do this. And she didn't pick on it at all. She just didn't pay attention.
Yeah.
She didn't realize this man had a swastika tattoo
Oh,
on his
jeez.
forehead.
God.
Yeah.
On
Wow.
his forehead, and she
You
How
were
do you
really
not
in the
see
deep
that?
desert.
I don't know how she doesn't
that
work with
one.
us anymore.
Yeah.
she missed that.
Because I would have ended up dead there in the
Yeah.
desert. And someone could have buried me there, and no one would ever find the bodies.
Yeah.
So we end up, in a crazy. Loretta and I rescued Gershwin in the desert.
Yeah.
And it's so
Oh,
interesting. So
right.
many people tell me, they ask, how come Eldad is always taking a girl with him? How come? And there's a reason for this. And the reason is that so many of the dogs are abused by men.
Right.
And so automatically, they're afraid of me. They don't know anything about me. They're immediately, I'm like, and Loretta approaches, and it's different, right? The energy is completely different. And so without Loretta there, I would have never been able to save this dog. And this dog would have died in the desert or I don't know what. But she was able to gain, and I had to stay in my car far away. I was at least 50, 60 yards away.
He was just keeping himself cool.
Wow.
Yeah, it was so hot that day.
Loretta, that one dog almost took you away. You couldn't even stop
yeah,
it. The
that-
one
that's
huge
Gershwin.
dog.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
Gershwin.
That's Gershwin. It was super, super hot.
Yeah.
And for a big dog with so much fur, I mean,
Yeah.
it has to be just so unpleasant and,
Yeah.
and, but I had to gain his trust, so I sat on the sewer grass. It was super wet and smelly and just
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
But he was kind of there hanging out, so, I'm like,
hung
okay,
out
I'm
with
just
him?
going to wait for him to be more comfortable. And he actually finally fell asleep.
Yeah.
So Eldad called me and he said, just throw the snappy on him. I've never done that before. So
Yeah.
you can imagine the amount of stress all of a sudden that I start to feel. My knees are shaking, my hands are shaking. I'm like, oh my God, if I fail this one time, it's over forever.
Yeah.
Sure.
They associate certain things with pain or torture.
Right.
So if you don't get the dog the first time,
And Gershwin's
you
bigger
don't have
than
the
you.
second
Yeah,
chance.
it's not just that. I don't think people really understand, because I've done this before as well. It's a very scary moment.
Yeah.
Because you're putting this loop on him, and there's nothing that stops the dog from coming at you
Yeah.
Right.
to attack you.
Yeah. Mhm.
And it's like, she's so brave to do this. I expect myself to do it and deal with the consequence. But for me to even go and ask her to do this, knowing the consequence, the possible consequence, it's a big deal. It's a very big responsibility on my end, and it's scary.
Well, I
Skip-
feel I'm
yeah.
protected.
You do?
Yeah, I
See,
do.
that's another. Do
Although
you
that
like how do
Gershwin
you?
started to pull you down the street.
Well, but I want to know
still
about that
okay.
because when people ride horses and things like that, if you're afraid, it's bad. It goes bad quickly, and so
Yeah.
with animals. So if you are a little bit afraid, how do you quell that emotion? Because they can sense it.
Of course.
So what do you do?
I'm very aware of it and I'm really focused. So when I know I have to get something done, I just, I used to
breathing.
meditate a lot. So I kind of know how to calm myself. And of course, I'm still shaking, but my inner sort of, on the inside, I'm very peaceful. And I know I'm going to get this dog. So you just focus and you go for it. Once it's done, that's when you're freaking out. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
It's scary. Just
Was it in Gershwin's
Yeah.
that your leg was shaking? I can't remember which one
There
it
were
was.
so many of
So,
those.
you're almost up to 1 billion views. These dogs, they're like stars. Like
Right.
they're like movie stars, these dogs.
Yeah.
Like,
They are.
people keep up with them, the updates, you want to know what happened to them. Has that surprised you, or is it like you expected it? What was,
They deserve it.
the dog that was we met her. I don't know if you were with me on that
Miley.
shoot, but what's her name? It was
Miley.
Miley.
Yeah.
Yeah, Miley. You know, how special was Miley? You know, tell us a little bit about Miley.
Yeah, Miley was the dog that, after Fiona, she took us then to, again, a
Yeah.
whole new level.
Right.
Because when you looked at Miley, when you initially look at that video, you think like it was filmed in a third world country. But it was filmed 20 miles away from here, from
Right.
Hollywood.
Right.
Fancy schmancy. And it's a nightmare, like that a dog lived like this for a long time to be in this shape. And we're able to, you know, rescue her and do all the medical treatment, and for her to bloom to be that incredible dog that you had seen a year later,
Sure.
right? It's not even, doesn't even look like the same dog. And it's such a beautiful thing, and it really makes people believe, you know, that the changes are possible. And it goes back to what you said, right? You can be in your life in the most terrible situation, financially or with your family or something, but there's a way, that there's a switch, you know, that something much better can come out of any bad situation. Sometimes it's a lucky break, you know. It's just, all it took is one guy to call me and text me a couple photos to show me this is what I'm seeing, and he was there with me on the rescue too.
And how often do you go back and check on these dogs? Because we see the updates, but do you check on them often? And do you think about Frankie and all these dogs? Do you go back?
We
and
don't
check
actively
on them?
check on all of them all the time. It's impossible. We're talking
Sure.
about thousands of animals, but
Yeah.
But the owners
The
text
owners
us
do
from time
this.
to time
Yeah.
and send us pictures.
And
Yeah,
and
cool.
something that has grown because of social media is that more and more owners create Instagram accounts for their dogs, right?
Right.
So, oh my God, like some dogs have like tens of thousands of followers
Right.
because people were so attached to their stories, and their families really understand how people are attached to these dogs that they never met in their lives, but just to see them, you know, kind of evolve and as they grow. And last week was kind of like just an interesting moment, because I found out that one of the dogs that I rescued 12 years ago passed away.
Yeah.
And I'm at that moment now, because I started Hope for Paws 11 years ago. And so, but I volunteered with another rescue before this. So it's been almost 20 years that I've been doing this in LA. And some of the dogs are passing away. And it's very sad to me. I mean, I'm so happy that they had the amazing lives that they turned to have.
But you know, you really did change their lives.
Oh, yeah,
'cause
yeah.
they were not destined to, or maybe they were destined to have great lives, but they needed a helping hand to get them
Yeah.
there, you know?
No, and I'm so happy that we were able to be a part of this helping hand. And again, you know, our social media following, because all these people who give us $5, these are the people that make it all possible, because it's the $5 plus $5 plus $5, and you have enough of those, and you can really provide these animals with the best medical care that is out there, and we're able to do incredible things.
You know, is it a special community of people who adopt these dogs? You know, the ones that end up, because I imagine you don't just give them to anybody. You know,
No.
they've gotta get. You know, they really gotta ask, and you know, your network of, you know, how do you make sure they're always going to get to a good, you know, life?
Oh, first of all, you have to go through an
insane application.
8 to 10 page adoption application. You have to meet the dogs, and
And the home checks.
home check. You really
That's
have to make
super
sure
important.
that everybody's safe, right? Because some dogs, you know, it takes time for them to, any adjustment, right? You
Adjust.
go from rescue to a foster, you have to be so careful, because they will look for an open door just
Yeah.
to escape, not
Yeah.
because it didn't sink in yet that everything is amazing now. And so we have to be so careful, and the foster families have to be so careful to protect them. And then the families, we also explain to them, you know, what can be a trigger to this dog, when they know the history. And that's the cool thing about adopting an animal from Hope for Paws, right? You really get to see the whole story, you know. You can, if you go to the shelter and you adopt a dog,
don't
you
know
were told
anything,
whatever, the dog was found on the street, or it was an owner surrender, or the owner passed away or something, or some other dumb excuse like, oh, I'm having a baby, so I'm just don't want a dog anymore.
That's how I got my
Yeah,
first
I
dog.
see.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So,
Yeah.
What do you think that is? Because, I mean, obviously this is a building full of animal lovers here. What do you think that thing is that, well, this is a little rescue.
She was not in good shape. She's the classic. This is Olive, and Allison rescued her, and when she brought her in, I mean, she just wanted to just run away. I mean, just something bad happened.
The funny thing about this dog and a bunch of the rescues in this building is that Allison, who you meet or have met, Olive comes, and then after a while, Olive starts to look exactly like her.
No, Alice looks like Olive.
I mean, whatever.
Yes, but what is that?
Point is that people start to look like their
But
owners.
that's a classic.
Do I look
Have you
like a
noticed
poodle?
that? Have you?
No.
Seriously, have you
What
noticed
is
that
that? But
before?
that's
Or is
a
that
phenomenon.
or is that a
That's
crazy
it's
thing?
the
No, that's
closeness.
a known thing.
You can go to
I think it's the
Google
closeness.
Yeah, that's
and
a-
just look
that's a-
dogs that look like their owners.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Do you look like
Oh my
Rosie?
God! I have to show you. I have to show this to you.
Yeah.
I just rescued one of the most beautiful dogs I've ever rescued.
Right.
Just her name is Sapphire,
Oh my
blue
God.
eyes.
But wait, are you naming these dogs? That's what I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
of
how
course,
I
they
know
name
that.
them every
That was
time,
my
yeah.
question. Gershwin and Sapphire. So is it an immediate thing where you just name them, or
it's-
Well,
what is
Sapphire
it?
had the blue eye.
Okay.
Yeah, she had the
So,
blue
yeah.
eyes. Wait, no, I'll get to the names in a second. But anyway, this dog was so beautiful, and she had a broken leg, and she needed medical care. And she was still in a foster, and she found a home, and the owner looks like her.
Yes,
And
but it's always like that.
No,
Yeah.
no. This
Let's
is.
see the picture.
Oh
then
my
we get
God!
closer.
It's
Yeah.
not even. I couldn't even make these stories up.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. I have to
We
find. I'll
also
need a
actually
second.
have people sending us the little cards with the names of dogs for like the male and the female.
Right.
Yeah.
So a lot of times we, in the car we'll have bags and bags of these cards and we just go through names. But sometimes you see a dog and you just think of the perfect name.
So
like,
Gershwin, how did Gershwin get it?
how
his
did we
name?
name Gershwin? He just looked like a composer.
Okay,
Yeah.
and you're a musician.
I mean, I love. Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, that's your
He
passion.
loves Gershwin.
I
I
love
used to play
Gershwin.
Gershwin too on the
Okay,
piano
okay.
a long time ago. Yeah.
Wait, I'm gonna find. Okay, so I have this one.
Da,
I'm just
da,
gonna send it to
da,
one phone.
Dun, dun, dun,
Exactly.
dun, 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 dun.
He just
Right?
had
Isn't
that
that Gershwin?
personality.
What do you think? People who are dog lovers can do just to support animals in general. Not even hope for Paws. Just
Yeah.
in general,
Yeah.
how can we be better stewards of these relationships with animals?
Sorry. Come on, you
put it
can't.
to the camera.
Hilarious.
You
Yeah.
can't
That's
even
so
make
cute.
this up.
I love them.
Oh my
They're
God.
perfect
Amazing.
for each other.
Yeah.
Oh, that is a beautiful dog and
But
a
no,
beautiful owner.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's just so
Yeah.
cool.
Both of them.
Wait, I want to find that.
So in regards to supporting
Yeah.
animals and taking better care
Yeah.
of them, I mean, obviously, when you have a dog, it's a responsibility for many years, could be up
Yes.
to 20 years. So it's like having a child.
Yeah.
You have to think before you get a dog, can you afford medical care?
Yeah.
Do you have enough time for this dog? Or are you working 16-hour days and the dog is alone destroying your house because there's no love and attention? So obviously providing a good diet, because so many dogs are dying from cancer and other diseases because of that food.
Yeah.
Like I personally cook for my dogs. I know what's in the food.
Yeah.
It's organic, all that stuff. But and then of course for stray dogs, if you're driving down the street, don't just drive by. Stop and take pictures. If you cannot catch the dog, take pictures, the location, send it to a rescue. Ask us to help. But don't just, be completely indifferent to the problem that we have in LA and
Yeah.
all over America and the world too. Like you can be the person to change the world, and it really begins with all of us.
Yeah.
So
And really, the
you
beauty
know.
is what we've noticed.
And sweetie, I'm so sorry I'm going to interrupt you, but I really do want to thank the supporters that we have, the donors and the amazing community on Facebook and YouTube. They are the reason why we are able to do this. Without them, there's no way. So thank you guys so much.
And the one really cool thing that we noticed, it's the shift. So years ago, my audience was very different from what it is now. And it used to be 80% women who were watching my videos, and
Oh, yeah.
the age group was 55 to 65. That was the audience. In the last 5 years, there's a complete shift where we're at 50-50, male and female, and it's across all age groups. And it's so interesting to me how many children are the ones who are reporting animals to us. It's because the children, they're out there, they're playing, and they'll see these animals. And to me, it's so important that other than being always in the screen, they're becoming more conscious to look around and see, maybe someone needs help, and it's
we had children actually call us and wait with the animal until we got there through crazy traffic, waiting 2 hours for the ducks.
Right. We had two kids, waited for more than 2 hours.
Yeah.
Both of them
And
happened to
see,
be with
children are
ducks.
the ones that can really change the world because they, their minds are so pure, their hearts are so pure and full of compassion. So,
Well, you guys,
awesome.
thank you so
Thank
much
you
for what
so
you do.
Thank you so much.
It's great for you guys to come in and just share what you do with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you so much.
Biggest
you for having
fans.
us here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are. And
Thank
she's
you.
completely asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. She's
She's
waking
so
up.
loved.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, this one. Well, they all come to work here, so they all just hang
That's
out all day,
amazing.
with people. So they
How amazing that you're allowing
Yeah.
them to
yeah.
come here to work
Yeah,
and not
well,
be
they-
home.
Yeah.
they like it. It's kind of like a dog kennel upstairs.
It really is.
No, we don't like
Yeah.
that word. It's not a kennel.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's a playground.
It's a dog farm
Yeah.
family.
Palace. It's a palace.
Yeah, it's good.
Anyway, come back and visit. Thank you so
We would
much.
love to.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much,
Yeah,
guys.
guys,
Thank you.
Thanks for watching or listening. Don't forget to subscribe or click here
Here
for the next
for the next
episode.